Hey y'all, it's Kim. So this morning, I think I was watching Fox News and they were talking about some new thing that the Democrat Party is trying is called dark woke. And some of the stuff that they talk about is that the fact that they'll be cussing and doing all this other stuff, but I'm not sure why they think that's cool. But do you remember this lady? This is the one that's actually she. I guess it's a she. I'm assuming it's a she, but who the hell knows at this point? 'Cause she looks like a man. When I saw the picture of her, it says basically we have to F Trump. But remember, she was like, I don't cuss that much, so don't tell my kids I'm saying this. But they started this right after the election. So when was this one? This was like February 11th. But this is Representative Maxine Dexter from she's a Democrat from Oregon. So let's listen to her.
I've been told I have 30 seconds. So I am going to tell you that we do have to, I don't swear in public very well, but we have to fuck Trump.
I mean, how stupid is she? She doesn't even know how to use it, and they're cheering her on. And then this Eric Swalwell, it says Eric Swalwell doesn't know the difference between the stock market and the economy. He also doesn't realize that cursing a lot doesn't make him or his point any stronger. It does the opposite. It's a state of affairs for Democrat lawmakers that they're now using profanity as a crutch. Because that's, I guess, how they think they can get their base all worked up in a frenzy. And I want to look more at this dark woke stuff, but let's listen to this numbnuts talk about this stuff.
The economy is crashing right now. It's crashing. And the president of the United States, he is golfing. He's fucking golfing.
Yeah.
If you can believe that. He's hitting balls. I'm taking calls from constituents and people all over the country whose 401ks are now 201ks. The cost of your groceries is going way up. Go to Target, go to Walmart, go to Home Depot. Almost everything that you're going to put in your shopping cart was made overseas, and the cost of it is going way up. This is fucking insane. The guy is golfing right now as you're going to be paying more. Retirement security, gone. All of that is gone. This guy doesn't care. It's not about America first. It's about Trump first. So, Mr. President, get your ass off the golf course and go fix this.
Let's see what people have to say about this. Let's see. Oh my gosh, let's look. So it has 94,000 views, okay? But that may be from this guy, from Paul. I don't want to say his last name, Zapula. I hope I'm not saying that wrong. This says, did Fang Fang call? What happened to the release of the full audio for this? Eric Swalwell panics when I ask about his Chinese spy girlfriend Fang Fang and whether it's a bigger national security threat than Elon Musk. I sat next to drunk Swalwell. Hold on. I sat next to drunk Swalwell at dinner for 90 minutes. He was immediately compromised by a group of lobbyists he just met, spilling intimate details about his job and asking for help cheating on his wife. Massive national security threat. This guy should have had clearances revoked. Swalwell spent his dinner bragging about orgies on Capitol Hill, telling them he's bored of his wife and only wants to F10s. Worse, he spoke about abusing his power on the House Intel Committee, which he's since been booted off of, saying he pushed to subpoena Ivanka Trump because she's hot as F. This guy must be removed from the Homeland Security Committee. He cannot keep his freaking mouth shut. After I began questioning him, Swalwell jumped back into the group of lobbyists to hide from me, but I pressed on. Dude, I looked absolutely terrified and 100% guilty. Dude looked absolutely terrified, 100%. He knows he's been caught. More to come later. I have about an hour and a half of audio to go through. And big shout out to Laura Loomer for assisting me with digging into this clown while I was focusing on listening in. So let's see here. I want to look. There was something else. It says here, Eric, I posted this so even you can understand. Low tariffs, then high, or then low for the world. Tariffs were high on the United States. Now we have reciprocal tariffs. It's kind of like that. What was that? I can't think of what it's called now. They used to come on and give you silly stuff like that with just little cartoons. It says silly man, also a man who slept with a communist spy who must be brought to account. How much sensitive American intel got transferred to her? How much did he get paid for the dastardly act? And then Air Swalwell sets up fake reporters to ask him softball questions, dates Chinese spies while he sits on National Intelligence Committee. Now using profanity to post videos. Could he be a bigger douche? Speaking of profanity, Jasmine Crockett. Yes, Jasmine Crockett. We're just going to pull her into the mix of this because she's about as trash mouth as these other people. And then we'll go to Dark Woke. I want to just look that up because I've never heard of it, and I just want to kind of know what the hell's going on with that. Jasmine Crockett person. I'm sure we can find plenty of videos on that. Okay. Her use of ghetto slang is just an act. Yeah. Let's see. Just got what? Ghetto trash. Jasmine Crockett just got put in her place by Nancy May. She backed down real quick, and Nancy said, "If you want to take it outside." Oh, that's good.
We have the right to know that we're not going to have trans people filming us in the bathroom. How many of these trannies are taking selfies? These men are taking selfies in women's faces in the bathroom. It's gross. It's disgusting. So if we're going to talk about civil rights, let's talk about the rights of women in this country and how you are stripping them away every single day. And you're doing it in your legislation, you're doing it in your messaging, you're doing it on X. You're making women feel unsafe in this country. And you're making the opportunity for women and girls to be raped, to be sexually abused in this country, even greater than they've ever been. So don't come over here with your attitude and talk to me about rights when you're trying to take my rights as a woman, a rape survivor, away. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Gentle lady yields back. Any membership recognition? Ms. Stansberg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the gentle lady across the aisle demonstrating why we need civil rights. We need civil rights to protect all people, especially trans Americans who are under attack right now. I would like to yield the rest of my time to the gentle lady who is carrying the amendment.
I don't even know how we got there because I tried to make it clear how needing civil rights, it doesn't just boil down to one conversation, but I can see that somebody's campaign coffers really are struggling right now. So she gonna keep saying trans, 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 so that people will feel threatened. And child, listen, I want y'all
I
to
am
tell
no
me
child.
whether or
Do
not
call me a child. I am no
I
child.
want
Don't
to
even
find
start.
out
I'm a grown
which
woman.
of those
I'm 47 years
emails
old. I have
actually
broken more
have.
glass ceilings than
Chairman,
you.
I
Order,
am
please.
reclaiming my
Let's go.
time.
You will not do that. I
Order.
am not a child.
I am
not a
reclaiming
child.
my time.
If you want to take it outside.
Mr. Chairman, the committee is
Damn.
not
Okay.
in order.
Order.
Point of order. Point of order.
Order.
Anyway, let's look at the Dark Woke. I was trying to find where she was cussing. Hold on. Jasmine Crockett just unloaded a drunken, vulgar rant where she cursed like a criminal, vomited word salad, promoted DEI propaganda. She ignored the violent threats she's been making recently because she has no defense for them. This video is a long, sloppy mess by a thug. Let's listen to her. Hold on. Just
Make
let me
sure
just
that
say,
they,
dang it. Hold on.
So let's get into the drama. Number one, I only found out yesterday that the Attorney General for the United States decided she wanted to come for me when it was clear that in the message that I delivered to all of those that are absolutely feeling like they want to raise their voices and make sure that they exercise their First Amendment rights, Yeah, I actually told them to consult legal counsel before they did so, because every municipality has their rules about, where you can protest, how you can protest, things like that. And it's perfectly allowable to do. But this is something that I've done for a very long time, is advise people on how to protest, how to engage in exercising their constitutional rights and evade any type of issues. So the idea that someone would try to threaten me with criminal prosecution is really telling us a lot about where this country has decided it wants to go. So that's that part. Okay, now let me move on to this other drama and this other tea. Y'all, listen, I am definitely of the opinion, that we should have some DEI hires in this administration, the ones that definitely earned it, because clearly we've got a bunch of incompetent fools that are trying to run our country, and actually they are running our country. They're running it straight into the ground, because the idea that you would have a Signal chat, and yes, if you don't have Signal, you all should get Signal. So I'm not gonna hate on Signal. This is not a Signal hating message, but the fact that you literally are going to plan enemy attacks on a Signal chat, and then you don't even know who's in the Signal chat, and then y'all want to come at us and act like people of color are the problem or that women are the problem. Like, baby, you probably need a good Black woman in the room who can check you and tell you that, first of all, you shouldn't be doing this shit on Signal or anything else. But y'all still mad about Hillary's servers. Is that what I hear? Yeah. So anyway, literally, I don't know if your homeboy was drunk at the time that he was sending these messages or what, but clearly this administration is not ready for prime time. And this is not a matter of being a Democrat or a Republican. This is literally about competence versus incompetence. And right now, these people are about to really, 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 really have us in some shit if they don't get their shit together, or if we don't just boot them first. Honestly, we should be in a very bipartisan way saying, you know what? Sorry, boo, but this is just above your pay grade, and we need to get some people that are actually qualified. So maybe we need to go ahead and open this pool to say Black.
Okay, I can't listen anymore, her dumb ass. I'm sorry. I just can't. I can't. So this dark woke, okay, Tim Walz, I think, was saying that they needed to embrace more of the woke ideology and the DEI and all these other things. I mean, they embraced the hell out of it. That's why people wholeheartedly rejected it. So let's just go there. It says, this is from Laura Loomer. She's like, I wish I was making this up. Dark woke. I kid you not. They are now using this term. It is the Democrat Party's way of modernizing their favorite Civil War era word for Black people again. I guess they're talking about the N word, maybe? I mean, I don't know. It says, what is dark woke? Democrats are trying out new attitude. It's provocative, edgy, and perilously towing the line of not being too offensive. Huh? It says Representative Jasmine Crockett, Democrat of Texas, has on more than one occasion directed name calling and insults at her political party. Jason Andrews for the New York Times. And then the Democrats. And Laura Loomer here, she says the Democrats are desperately trying to rebrand DEI Shaniquas into a concept called dark woke. It's not going to happen. New York Times Democratic insiders say the party must gravitate toward being more crass and rude, but only to a point, and must embrace becoming dark woke, examples of which are Jasmine Crockett and Tim Walz. I'm still not really understanding. It says dark woke with a pic of Jasmine Crockett sums it up. Loud, obnoxious, ironic leftism from the lowest human capital, pushing this word, Black liberalism. That's what I'll call it. I'm not using that. Because then y'all will come after me and then be like, oh, she's racist. It says, what is dark woke? Democrats are trying out a new attitude. It's provocative, edgy, and perilously towing the line of not being too offensive. Let's see here. Dark woke, the Democrats' new costume for a dying ideology. Democratic Party or the Democratic Party is unraveling before our eyes. Even Gavin Newsom, their poster boy, just confessed, I don't know what the party is. I'm still struggling with that. That's not leadership, that's surrender. It says instead of offering real solutions, they've turned to theatrics. They've traded policy for profanity, substance for slander, and they're now branding it as dark woke. Yes, the New York Times is promoting this vulgar, unhinged rhetoric as the key to winning in 2028. And that's so stupid because that's why they're losing. It says, so let me get this straight. Screaming explicatives on live television for live shows, comparing Trump to Hitler, demonizing Americans who disagree, attacking Elon Musk and RFK Jr., trash talking faith, order, and reason. That's not a plan. It's a panic attack. And no, it's not edgy. It's desperate. Says the left is responding to the needs of everyday Americans. They aren't talking about food prices, border security, rising crime, or global instability. They're obsessed with messaging while POTUS Trump speaks with policies. That's the difference. And who do they parade around as their new voice? People like Jasmine Crockett promoted for being rude but discerning. They think voters want more chaos, more division, more ID politics, but America's waking up. It says, as Greg Gutfeld said perfectly, wokeism is like a drunk spouse. If you leave, they try to destroy you. The Democratic Party isn't just confused, it's corrupted by a worldview that sees disagreement as oppression and insults as strategy. That isn't bold, it's broken. We must reject this political cosplay and return to a nation built on truth, accountability, and love for our fellow citizens, not endless victimhood and rage. It's time to lead with courage, not curse words. Want to know more? Full segment from Fox. Fox is the 5 here. So let's watch this clip. This is the one I think I saw this morning. From Fox, or actually, it's the 5.
Just threw his own party up the bus in a brand new interview. The California governor took a swipe at the Democrats, saying, quote, I don't know what the party is. I'm still struggling with that. That criticism comes as the party tries to rebrand themselves as dark woke. The New York Times chronicling the rise of Democrats who think a new, provocative, edgy attitude will help them defeat Trump. And going dark woke is all the rage among Democrats who are desperate for authenticity.
This is what kicking the out of fascism looks like.
I think I can kick most of there. I do that.
Somebody slap me and wake me the up because I'm ready to get on with it. Total fool. Absolute fool.
Once you get successful, don't be a greedy bastard and not pay your taxes.
You could speak directly to Elon Musk. What would you say?
And here's more dark woke nonsense. Seinfeld creator Larry David is trashing Bill Maher for visiting Trump at the White House after writing an op-ed in the New York Times called My Dinner with Adolf. And the climate doomsayer Al Gore comparing the Trump administration with Nazi Germany.
I understand very well why it is wrong to compare Adolf Hitler's Third Reich to any other movement. It was uniquely evil, full stop. I get it. But there are important lessons from the history of that emergent evil. The Trump administration is insisting on trying to create their own preferred version of reality.
Okay, Jesse, the New York Times says that dark woke is the way for Dems to get their groove back. What do you say?
Well, they said that about Dark Brandon. He didn't get his groove back. So I talked to a Democrat the other day, did it by accident. I try to avoid these people, Judge, but he told me how things used to go with Pelosi. When she ran the thing, she would get her caucus together and get out a calendar. Say, okay, Friday the jobs numbers are coming out. On Tuesday, you're going to have a Pentagon hearing. On Thursday, NATO summit, and the next week, whatever. And she'd line up her best speakers for each of those issues, and she'd put them out on television and put them out on press conferences. And then everybody would get the same messaging. And they'd have the messaging for offense, and then they had it for defense, and then they have a legal strategy. And then she broke her hip, and the coup backfired, and she was collateral damage. So Hakeem is running the show. And no one fears Hakeem. Now, Nancy, if you crossed her, she'd probably launch an ethics investigation against you or strip you from your committee seat or something like that. But Hakeem doesn't have any clout. So now everybody goes wherever they want at the same time, and it's chaos. And he's afraid of the base. The base isn't afraid of them. That's why you're seeing people be rambunctious to get attention, and they're all the ones going to El Salvador, ones fighting with Fetterman. That's what you're seeing right now. So until they have someone that can run the ship like a captain, you're going to see more of this trash.
You know, that's such a good point, Dana. And the idea that, you know, the New York Times is saying that we need someone crass but discerning, rude, but only to a point. I mean, they're defining Jasmine Crockett. So nobody does their marketing better than Democrats. How many times do they go to the well and pay consultants $1 gazillion to come up with something that is so dumb? And then the New York Times will write about it because they love process stories. Oh, look, they're really getting their act together. How is dark woke any different from before? It's a little bit more crude, it's a little bit more crass, but it's still the same result. They always do like all the easy stuff that they think is going to get them where they need to be, mostly because the media had helped them for a long time. But that ship has sailed, and I don't know who it's going to be. Maybe it is Gavin Newsom that's figured out and said, I know how to break out and be somebody who is outside of Washington, who is saying, this party has changed. Let me be the one that comes in and solves everything and tries to cobble this back together. I know that at some point the Democrats will get their act together. I just find it really hard to imagine what that looks like right now. I can't imagine it. But Newsom's saying, I don't know what the Democratic Party is.
But it seems like this is trying to take a page out of the Donald Trump playbook, clearly. And we've seen them try this before, and it hasn't worked for them. Even the New York Times piece references this new form of combative rhetoric. They said they want to win back the voters who have responded to Trump's no-holds-barred version of politics, right? So they want to go after dark woke. They say they've been locked in a respectability prison. They want to grab voters' attention. And I think the only thing you can take away from this is that they're not taking a page out of Trump's playbook. He focused on the issues. He spoke to voters directly. He addressed their concerns with policy pitches, and they're still focused on the messaging.
And what is that messaging, Brad?
That's a great question. They have no messaging. First of all, you got Al Gore and Larry David comparing the Trump administration to Hitler. They haven't been arrested for that. So that doesn't help their argument, does it? They don't care. The comparison still happens despite millions voting for this Hitlerian person. And I'm counting among his supporters, Jewish leaders and philanthropists. RFK Jr. and his wife Cheryl, who was in Curb Your Enthusiasm. Those are all apparently Nazi collaborators. It won't matter because to these lazy minds, calling somebody Hitler isn't a big deal to them. They've reduced the smear to just people that they don't like. It's no longer a mass murderer. So who knew liberals would be the one who gives Hitler a makeover? Now he's just
Hitler a makeover.
Oh, he's like Hitler. I don't get along with him. Oh, I get it. Dark woke sounds like a new coffee brand at the Starbucks menu. It's like I'll have a dark woke Colombian.
Let's see what people are saying about this. So it says, let's check in on the left today. Good Lord. That's pretty good. And then it says blowing any way the wind blows until he's elected. Work in and by itself is dark, evil to the core, or woke maybe. This is insane. The left is going to get even more nuttier. Yeah. Dems just lie. No matter what they call it, it's lying. They can't muster up a riot anymore. They're paying for the Social Security leftists to shake it up. Dark indeed. Spot on, the Democrats' dark woke tantrum shows they're clueless about what Americans want. Real solutions, not profanity and division. Trump's policies speak louder than their chaos, and time to reject the circus and focus on truth and accountability. And then weird. Oh my goodness. So yes, that is the dark woke that they're trying to push through. Let's see. To the dark woke, I can't believe they're using this slogan now. Ha ha ha. And it says, remember, no matter how much you cry, like a little bitch, Trump will be your president again. Yeah, that's funny. it's more like the Democrats are embracing ghetto culture strategy. According to the New York Times, leading Democrats are keen to embrace a strategy known as dark woke. The strategy is said to be inspired by, I don't know what this means, Thicko, Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who is known for her vulgarity, low intellect, and foul-mouthed rants, according to the Gateway Pundit. And then Democrats embrace dark woke strategy inspired by loudmouth Jasmine Crockett's viral vulgarity. While everyone is focused on the mass deportation fight between Trump and the judges, America is being Islamified in many states, with Muslim being elected to office, mosque, and full Muslim communities being built, and it's nationwide. The jihad has arrived to the U.S. Time to wake up. I'm liking the dark woke moment. Your agenda is illegals, trans, and DEI, all of which are no longer allowed at DOD. Democrats, Pete's point of view. What? Jackasses. Dark woke will end up like Dark Brandon. Stop it and get some help. Okay. This is basically the same thing, a new form of combative rhetoric that aims to regain voters who have been influenced by President Trump's aggressive political style because the woke were too subtle before. Oh, yeah. It says, I grew up in a family of Democrats. The goodness of the Democrat Party was dinned to me constantly by my father. He's gone now, but it is inconceivable to me that he would try to defend this behavior, let alone vote for any Democrat ever again. It says Democrats are trying on a new attitude, the dark woke. So just so y'all are aware of this, if you didn't already know it, let me look at the comments on this one. Hot Crockett's. Oh my goodness. I mimic what I think black people are like. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Pandering. It says they're Marxist now, nothing Democrat about it. I also grew up in a Democrat household. My parents got fed up with how far to the left the Democrats had gone in 1968 and re-registered as Republicans. The Democrats of the 50s and early 60s were very similar to 2025 MAGA Republicans in many ways. My father was a West Virginia Democrat. I voted for Jimmy Carter to my eternal shame. The first time I could vote, I started working for a living, never voted Democrat again. Let's see what this says. So dark woke, leftist ditch civility post Trump win, embracing edgy memes and clapbacks. AOC leads the vibe, but is it just X noise and dark woke? Let's see. Oh, that's a GIF. Never mind it. I don't know what that is. The party of peace and love no longer exists. Jasmine Crockett is trending, dark woke indeed. Jasmine Crockett has replaced her bogus story about deciding to become a lawyer after being the victim of a hate crime. And the current story is that her genius mock trial abilities led to her decision to become a lawyer. Let's see. From Jasmine Smollett to Jasmine Biden in just a few years. Let's watch this dumb video.
I had a great background as relates to my ability to deal with numbers, and it was going to pay well. So I was like, I'll be an accountant. Unfortunately, around my junior year, I was the victim of a hate crime or two. And so were a group of my friends, all at the same time. Cars were keyed with the N-word. We received hate mail in our on-campus mailboxes. And at that time, my school hired.
Cars were keyed with the N-word, but your base is out there scratching swastikas on people's cars. So any brain cells there working? That if you felt victimized because somebody keyed your car, wouldn't the person that owned the vehicle feel victimized as well with the swastika being indented in their car or whatever, etched on their car. I mean, duh. What an idiot.
The Cochran firm. And there was a lawyer who graduated from University of Houston who was assigned to me. And it was the first time in my life that I felt helpless. And I was like, I want to help people that are going through what I've just experienced. And at that point in time, I decided that I was going to sit for the LSAT. I did Little Shop of Horrors. So when I was in college at Rhodes in Memphis, I ended up doing Little Shop of Horrors.
What part did you play in that?
I was one of the women that was singing.
Okay.
Yes, I was in the chorus.
Okay.
And so I ended up doing it, and the mock trial coach recruited me to do mock trial. And I was like, no. By this time, I decided I was going to be an accountant. Didn't want to do anesthesia no more. Still didn't want to talk to people. So then he goes, no, you should do mock trial. And I said, that's for the kids going to law school. Long story short, he recruits me. I do mock trial just my senior year. I become a national All-American. He says, you should go to law school. So I applied, got a full ride, and said, fine, if I don't like it, I'll quit.
Let's see. Did she say that keying a car was a hate crime? How very interesting. I said the exact same thing just a minute ago before I even looked at this comment. Yeah, very, very interesting. You can definitely tell when she made her money. Her weave and lashes were subpar in 2019. I believe she would call that a hot mess. He's a hot mess, honey. We in these hot ass Texas streets. And y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels. That was the most disrespectful thing she could have ever said at that thing. Oh my gosh. I mean, this is so awful. It says regardless of how she got there, not the kind of lawyer you want or need, can't keep her own story straight. Yeah, exactly. And she sounded very different back then. I think she's just doing a lot of this stuff for the base. I'm just saying. It says Crockett's rebranding for higher office is well underway, Obama Biden style. Yeah, you got to change your background to fit in more or something to make it sound more glamorous. But anyway, so that's Dark Woke. I just, like I said, heard that this morning and I was thinking, what is this nonsense? Dark Woke is anonymous. What? I don't know. I don't know what that is. Dark Woke means more communist than Stalin. Oh, that's weird. Okay. So that was 3 hours ago. Well, this week's buzzwords for the Democrat is, wait for it, Dark Woke. I thought Dark Woke was what was in the toilet after eating too much chili. Oh my goodness. What in the hell is that? And it says, should Tim Walz be the front man of for the Dems' new Dark Woke identity? Ugh. I don't even want to see his face or hear his mouth. Says the latest Dem move to try to regain relevance in an attempt at rebranding. They now refer to themselves as Dark Woke. Can you believe it? Let's see what people are saying on this one. It says dark as in evil and demonic. Woke is dark. We already know that. It's from the depths of hell dark. This just makes me laugh. Where has this gotten them in just a woke world? So Dark Woke is going to pull them out of their hole. They steal everything, no tax on tips, dark MAGA, and secure the border, but they are violent. Is that the new synonym for retard? They redefine evil, redefine bullshit, redefine recession, redefine immigration, redefine inflation. And we Americans need to redefine politics as only from the people. We as a population vote on every single law, no matter how or no matter what, through blockchain, and completely rid ourselves of Congress and half senators as well. And we'll always be dementia craft, dim SM13 to me. And dark MAGA, yeah, it's dark woke, laughable. And they're disgusting. Somebody slapped their forehead, so dumb, unbelievable, dark wankers. I thought dark meant extreme or dangerous to them. Didn't they flip their lids when Elon wore a black MAGA hat and called it dark MAGA? And what does that mean? Do they sit around in the dark? Dim woke would be more appropriate, and they are dark, that's for sure. Satanic dark, and then the new symbol of the left. Well, a pentagram. Anyway, so that's dark woke. I just had to go down this little rabbit hole just so I could see what they were talking about. Says society needs Christian values. This secularism thing isn't working. Christian values start being reintroduced to society. No, that's the woke right. The dark hatred, whatever that means. Oh, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Pew Research poll. It's hold on, let's look at this. So this is from 417, so that's 47 to 413. President Trump approval. Oh, disapprove. So 59% disapprove and 40 approve, which is -7. This is +8. When was this done? Oh, that was a while back. So January 27th to February 1st, so that doesn't matter. Democrats want to keep terrorists inside our borders. They're dark, woke, or evil. Yeah. So anyway, that's what you got here. There's dark woke. That's their new strategy. That's going to be their new talking points and their new way of trying to handle us. So anyway, oh my goodness. They have nothing better to do. They have no messaging and no messenger, like to say. So this is what we have to deal with. But yeah, it's going to be a fun ride these next, 3.5 years. Woo, excuse me. Anyway, like, share, and subscribe. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good afternoon. Bye.